Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So it's been 2 weeks since Azur Lane came out in English for Weiss Schwarz, and I think now is a really good time just to take a look at the market, look at the raw prices, look at sealed, look at how much supply is out there given it's been released for 2 weeks, and see what cards are doing. I feel like some cards have switched around in prices a little bit. So yeah, we're going to take a look at that today and see what we think. If you had seen my previous video before it came out, I did say this was going to be a very popular set, and I'm sure you might already be aware it has gone down really well and it has been very popular in its English release. So actually, if we start off by looking at the booster box case, because there's only one listing of a case of booster boxes on TCG Player, and that is for $1,298 US. So it's quite high. It's obviously more expensive than it would be had you pre-ordered this with a store before it was released. But let's actually look at some of the sales and see what's actually been sold. So as you can see, we just scrolled past quite a lot of sales. So a lot of cases have been selling, and there's even more actually. But yeah, if we look around, this is, I guess, pre-orders by the looks of things. Or just a few days early potentially. But yeah, as you can see, that's like a typical case price for a new set, and actually some here went very, very cheap, and that was that's on release day. So some were sold on release day for I mean, you can still get these kind of prices for new sets if you get them on pre-order. But as you can see, as we start to scroll up and we're getting into November and the second week of November, we've kind of had a little increase here. We're kind of going into the 1,100s nearly consistently for the past week, nearly up to 1,200 on that last sale. And then, yeah, there's only one available, and they've obviously priced that a little bit higher because of the low supply. You know, if someone wants this on TCG Player specifically, there is no other option. Now, there's obviously going to probably be some sellers out there on Discord, on the Weiss Schwarz Facebook group, that might have a case. But if you're coming here to buy it, that is your only option. So the booster box set has obviously gone down very well. Supply is not really there at this point. Me personally, I went through 4 cases on my store, and I am absolutely sold out of the booster box for this set. So that is it. Yeah, that is an indicator. Just looking at this here in general, the fact there's one there, market price is 1,000, and that's the cheapest listing. Like, that shows that it's gone down very well, and there's not much supply out there now. Now, looking at raw cards, when I looked at this previously, I think this was the chase card from the booster box set, right? And as you can see, there are 4 listings of the New Jersey SP, and market price is down at $669, and the cheapest listing essentially out of the 4 is $815. So if we quickly check this one, see what's actually been paid for, and as you can see, on release day, someone got this very cheap, and this is quite common in Weiss Schwarz. Sometimes if you buy SPs on release day, you can get them cheaper than what they potentially become, because people kind of haven't figured out prices at that point. But obviously, potentially that could go the other way. But from what I've seen over the last year or a few years, is that it's more common that it plays out this way. And if you get one of those first sales on release day, if you manage to buy it, you normally get it at a much better price than if you were to wait. So yeah, very cheap on that first purchase, and then it's actually consistently gone up in price after every single sale on TCG Player. With the last one selling about a week ago for $750 US. So that was looking like the most expensive cards on release day, or like a couple days after release. However, these trial deck SPs are rising and have taken the spot. So this is a trial deck SP that you can only get from the Iron Blood trial decks. So no booster boxes. You're not going to find this in any booster boxes, but the cheapest listing is $875 with only one listing. So that is something to note compared to the 4 new jerseys that are for sale. And if we look at sold data, we've got $900, and actually that's on release day. So if you compare that to the new jersey that sold for literally half of that on release day, maybe you just need to look at sales and look into that data a bit more when things come out, because I feel like when I quickly and briefly looked at TCG Player, it looked like this one. It was an expensive SP, but it didn't look like the most expensive. But we've got another sale here a couple of days later for $850, and yeah, there's only one for sale, right? So as it stands, looking at this data here, this looks to be the most expensive card, the chase card from the set. And yeah, it's coming from a trial deck, which sometimes is common in Weiss Schwarz. Sometimes the trial deck SPs become the most expensive card of the set. And if you didn't know, there are 4 different trial decks for Azur Lane. So there are quite a few different trial deck SPs. As you can see here with the TE after the hyphen, that is what indicates that it's a trial deck. So this here is from a trial deck as well. This is another booster box SP. So these 2 are looking potentially to be the most expensive. This one again, TE, is coming from a trial deck. So a lot of big SPs from trial decks, despite the fact that there's actually quite a lot of trial decks. There's actually quite a few SPs you can get from trial decks as well. So let's just look at the trial decks that you could get this chase card SP from, essentially. And that is the Iron Blood trial deck. So if you scroll down on the Weiss Schwarz product page, it shows you the SPs that you can get from that exact deck. Now, she is there, as you can see, but there are 3 other SPs, and as far as I'm aware, it is 2 SPs per case of 48 trial decks. So if you bought a case of these Iron Blood trial decks, potentially you could hit the chase card, and actually you could hit, I think that was up there, yeah. So that one again is around $400 to $500. You could potentially hit some 2 really expensive cards that will way more than pay for what the trial deck case cost. Now, obviously, you probably would have had to pre-order that. It's probably going to be pretty difficult to pick a case of this particular trial deck up at this point. And if you can, it's going to be fairly expensive, I would imagine. But obviously, you can end up with these 2 here, and let's just try and look for them. I believe they are some of the cheaper trial deck SPs. There are a lot of SPs in the booster boxes and in the trial deck, so as you can see, there's quite a lot of SPs that show up as you're going through TCG Player and having a look. But yeah, let's just try and find. So yeah, that's one of them. So you could end up hitting this one, which is essentially worth what, 80 to 100 to $100. So you could hit that one. I believe this is quite similar. Maybe around $200. So in that case, if you hit these 2, you've probably lost money if you bought a whole case to open for the SPs. If you hit these 2, you've gained a lot, and obviously you could end up half and half between the different combinations of 2 SPs that you could come away with. Now, that is obviously just one of the trial decks. So they made 4 different trial decks. I actually still have trial decks in stock. They came really, really late for me. I've only just shipped the pre-orders for them out today, but I have all of the trial decks currently in stock on cardcami.co.uk. There should be, I will put something on the screen and you should be able to just click it and it will take you to the site if you're in the UK or EU and you want to pick some of these trial decks up. I'll also put it in the description and things like that. So yeah, if you're interested in grabbing some of these trial decks and potentially trying to get one of these SPs, head over to Cardcami and yeah, you can put an order in there. But yeah, let's go back to looking at the prices for some of the sealed stuff. So Booster boxes, 68 US dollars. Now, it's always a bit weird, like, in terms of booster boxes on TCG Player. Some of them are going to be dead, and some of them might not be dead. Like, you don't really know unless you're buying from a store that you've consistently bought from and you know they're reliable. Then that might be quite effective. Obviously, if you get a case, not that Bushiroad guarantee the pull rates, so there is a very, very slim chance that it might not have the allocated hit rate inside it, but it's going to guarantee it a lot more than compared to just buying loose boxes. But yeah, I would imagine some of these boxes are legit. They're not dead. And then there's probably going to be some here that are. It's really hit and miss with sellers and things like that. But the case price is obviously reflecting. You get a case, you very likely know how many hits you're going to get inside that. And onto the trial decks, they are pushing $110, $116. So yeah, I feel like the trial decks are kind of reflecting what you can get inside them. Another thing to mention actually is that, so it's a triple rare in every trial deck, and some of those triple rares are actually worth the price of the trial deck itself. So in terms of expected value, let's try and find, so if we turn off sealed products and then go to triple rares, you'll see that like, here we go, like South Dakota, 21 US dollars, which is more than the trial deck would cost. But obviously there's lots of triple rares. So although this one's 21, 15, 15, there's quite a few here that are like 15 or around the mark, that if you open the deck, you kind of get a lot of the money back if you were to sell it. But yeah, if you keep scrolling, you'll see that there's quite a lot of triple rares, because there are 4 different decks, you get one in every deck. And yeah, some of them are going to be a few dollars. But yeah, I mean, I haven't worked it out. Like, I don't know if in terms of like getting a case and just opening it all and trying to hit some of those bigger SPs. I feel like the expected value is probably potentially good. You might recoup quite a lot of money or more money than you spent, but at the same time, there's always that risk of you just get unlucky and you get the 2 cheapest SPs and you don't hit like any of the good triple rares, and they're much cheaper. But compared to some other sets, I think they're quite promising. But yeah, so I think it's doing well, and I think 2 weeks on is a really good time to kind of look at the prices. For Weiss Schwarz, I feel like after a month, I'd say after a set's been out for a month, you really start to see like sales drop off, because by that point, there's normally another set out, or another set is very close to coming out, and people's attention goes to the new set instead. But this one, I think it's going to go down well, sort of long term. If I had to make a guess, I think the case price that it's at now and these prices, I mean, as you can see, since it came out, the prices have sort of slowly, I mean, this one actually hasn't climbed. On release date, it was pretty much $900, then someone sold it for $50 less. But some of the other SPs, we know the New Jersey sold very cheap on release day, but let's just look at this one. So again, release day, or the day before by the looks of it, you got $400. It's gone 5, 6, 8, back down to 5. But you know, compared to that first sale, it has gone up, as indicated by the chart, right? But yeah, I think personally this set will just do well long term. Like, it's got lewd artwork in it, which we don't often get to English, and when we do get sets like this, they normally are really popular, and people do chase after those lewd cards, those lewd arts. And because there's so many SPs, even though perhaps a lot of this got printed and a lot of it got opened, as you can see, the supply isn't there. Like, it got opened, but people, the demand's matching it, because there's only one case left. There's only one listing of the the Chase Trial Deck SP. So yeah, going forward, I think I'll probably do a video. For anyone who saw my 2020 Weiss Schwarz market video, I'll do a similar one at the end of 2023. I know that's, this set would only have been out a few months, but we will see, compared to 2 weeks from release, we will see what the prices are looking at sort of 3 months after release. And if they're the same, if they've gone up even more, or if they've dropped. Personally, I just can't see it dropping that much because there's just not much supply. Like, there's not enough out there for it to just come down a lot in price. And if it did, I feel like because it's such a popular set, people would just buy those cards or those cases anyway. So personally, I would expect to see similar numbers to what we can see on the screen now, or if anything, they might go up a little bit more than this. But we'll see what happens. And yeah, if you're watching it and you're still watching, if you're still watching at this point, please hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully you can come check out the 2023 video of going through every Weiss Schwarz set that came out in 2023 and seeing what was popular, seeing what did well, and just taking a look at the market and the prices. So yeah, if you're interested, hit like, hit subscribe, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.